Welcome back. It's the Brady Farkas Show right here on WDEV, AM and FM at WDEVradio.com. I've been excited to do this interview all week as I want to continue to learn more and more about the kind of rebirth of the UVM men's hockey program. Catamounts under first-year head coach Todd Woodcroft not playing this weekend because of another COVID-related pause right now. Catamounts at 1-7-2 overall. Joining us now is assistant coach Jeff Hill, works with the goalies, played hockey here at UVM as well. And Jeff, we appreciate you being with us, man. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Well, I appreciate you joining us. As I said, you're not playing this weekend, another COVID-related pause or mini pause. And that's kind of been the story of your season. How frustrating or hard or difficult has this year been?
It's been hard for the guys for sure. I mean, right from the get-go, guys getting here, having to quarantine, and then working in pods and then split squad, and then we finally got into our full team practices, and then we got paused for about a month delay of our season, and then we played 6 games, and then we got paused again, and then we played another 2, and then we got paused again. So it's been challenging for the guys for sure, but at the end of the day, they're a pretty resilient group, and just keep grinding away, focus on the process of getting better every day, and focus on the positives. Really, they've been great.
The record is 1-7-2, and I guess I can see both sides to this coin. The shutdowns and the constant stops and starts could really halt any momentum you guys are able to build, and that could be really hard. On the other hand, it could lead to more individual work and team building and extra practice time that you don't usually get in the course of a season. So what has this year been like from your team's development standpoint?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the first pause we had, we were starting to kind of hit our stride. We had just played 2 games against Maine. We played a great game on Friday night. We kind of faltered a little bit on Saturday night, but there were a lot of positives. We came back, brought it within one goal game, and definitely showed some resiliency there. So we were starting to come along, and then we got shut down. And unfortunately, with that shutdown, that coincided with the whole athletic department shutting down for whatever it was, 14 days or whatever. So it ended up being, we weren't on the ice for about 30 days overall. And that was pretty tough on the guys. But with that, we were able to, kind of reset, focus on a few things. We had a lot of Zoom meetings. We had a lot of, guest speakers and things like that. Obviously with Todd Woodcroft and his connections throughout the hockey world and beyond. We were able to get a lot of, really, really cool guest speakers on there. We focused on, we had power play meetings, we had defensive meetings, we had penalty kill meetings, you name it. We did whatever we could. And I think we came out of it on the right side of things. But, and obviously it showed, we had really 4 days to prepare for Boston University last weekend. And I don't think we missed a beat. Obviously on Saturday night, we didn't play our best, but our first game back after a long delay, we were pretty darn good. So take it in stride, really.
How do you evaluate this team this year? Again, the record is the record, but with all the adversity, are you evaluating the on ice stuff as much as you normally would? Is it more you're learning about guys off the ice and work ethic and character? How are you evaluating this team?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of everything. Obviously we spent a lot of time with the guys on the ice, and we were fortunate to, at the beginning to be in really small groups. So we got a lot of individual attention with guys, and we've had a lot of remote work. So we've had to develop relationships over the phone. We've had to do it over Zoom. We've had to do it in different ways. So I think just learning about our guys, learning about what we have in the locker room, learning about what's on the ice. And fortunate for me, I know most of the guys because I'm the only guy that's been here. So I know the guys from last year, the returning guys, and so I have a little bit of a different perspective than maybe the rest of the staff coming in. It's all new to them. So especially Coach Woodcroft. I mean, this is his first time in college hockey too. So I think for him, just learning college hockey and then learning his roster and getting to know guys both on and off the ice. And Todd does a really, really good job of getting to know the guys more than just hockey. He has a lot of conversations with guys that don't have anything to do with hockey, and I think that's one of his strong points for sure.
I was going to ask you about Todd Woodcroft. We see this all the time in the pro game. You see it a lot in college too. New coach comes in and he brings in his guys, all new staff, and everybody's out, and that's just kind of the way it goes. You played here, you've coached here the last couple of years. Why was it important for Todd Woodcroft to keep you along the staff?
I don't know. It's a good question for Todd, but you know what? When everything did throughout that whole transition phase, from say middle of March to when Todd was hired, I was the only guy left. Obviously Coach Sneddon was retired, and then Kevin Patrick, who I was fortunate enough to work with for 5 years, stepped down for a different opportunity, and so I was the only guy standing. So during that process, I had the opportunity to kind of run things, so to speak, and just keep things afloat until we had a coach hired. And it was about a 3-month process where I was the only guy. So it did give me a good opportunity to learn a little bit more about everything that Kevin Patrick did. I had to do everything that Kevin Sneddon was normally doing. I had to do. So I think that increased my value a little bit in terms of the responsibilities I could hold. But at the end of the day, I think throughout our first few conversations, I think Todd realized how much this place means to me, both as you said, as a player and somebody who's been here. I was here through the previous transition from Coach Gilligan to Coach Sneddon, and during that whole thing, and then played through that, and then during my coaching career here, I've worn a lot of different hats. I was a volunteer assistant coach, then I was director of hockey operations, and then I was the full-time assistant coach. So I think that's where, just knowing this place, and, for Todd to not know really much about college hockey and, the ins and outs of it, I think it was important for her to have, somebody who knew college hockey, but also knew UVM and cared about UVM. And I think that was something that was important to Todd for sure.
I've had people tell me in their observation that the program is now running like a pro-style program. What does that mean?
Yeah, I would agree, and I think it goes to I guess the point of just the detail in which Todd and the rest of our staff is teaching guys. I think that's number one is just on the ice, the detail that it takes, and the quote unquote modern game, and Todd's a year fresh out of the NHL, so he knows everything that is going on in the NHL, and obviously we have guys and want guys that aspire to play in the NHL. So I think from an on ice perspective, it's the detail in which they're taught every day is a pro style. In terms of the other things and how you prepare and how you sleep, how you eat, the information that we give guys leading up to an opponent is a little bit more than we may have done in the past, and so it's just a different perspective, I guess. So it's just a lot more detail, I would say, and at the end of the day, that's saying a lot, because Kevin Sneddon was very, very detailed from an organizational standpoint. He's second to none. So for me to say that we're more detailed is saying a lot.
You mentioned wanting guys to play in the NHL. Well, ironically enough, I'm going to have Ross Colton on here a little bit later today. And, I was hoping to talk to him after his NHL debut. He was supposed to play last night on the taxi squad for the Lightning. They ended up getting postponed against Dallas because of the winter storm down there. So I get a little chance to pepper you with a question. What should I know about Ross Colton that he's not going to be ready for? What can I hit him with that's going to surprise him?
It's been a while. It's been a while. He left after his sophomore year. And you know what? He's a guy who we haven't had a guy who can shoot like that, and since he left, I don't think. He was a goal scorer, and that's obviously something we've been lacking in the past few years. And that was a big loss for us. And what can you be prepared? What is he not going to be prepared for? That's a tough one. I don't know if there's anything I can say on air. I don't know if there's anything there.
All right. Well, that's they'll stay in the good stuff will stay in the vault then, it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. No, he's I'm really excited for him. Obviously, he's worked his way up to earn an opportunity to play with the big club, which is awesome. And another obviously another NHL player that we have in the UVM stable.
Let me get you out of here on 2 questions. You played hockey at UVM. You also played lacrosse. And look, man, I went to a big high school and I played basketball and baseball. So, between winter and spring, even that was hard trying to navigate in high school, trying to figure out, okay, well, when am I throwing bullpens in the off season versus when am I playing basketball? You're doing it at the Division I college level, back-to-back seasons where there's massive crossover even between games. How do you handle that?
Yeah, it was hard. It was a lot of crossover, and obviously I had support of the coaching staff on both sides to be able to do both, and understood that I had passions for both, and I wanted to continue to do it. And the crossover was tough because I would actually miss the first, I don't know, 3 to 6 games every year for lacrosse because we were still playing in the playoffs or whatever it was for hockey, and so I would inevitably probably like tweak a groin or something like that because I was a goalie. So everything in hockey, and then I was a midfielder in lacrosse. So completely different muscle groups and things like that were being used. So I'd inevitably, tweak something and then kind of get a slow start to it. So that was a hard part. The best part about it though is I had, instead of 28 teammates, I had 70 teammates, and it was a blast. I mean, I had an opportunity to play for 2 different coaches at UVM for lacrosse, and Steve Bevel and Ryan Curtis, and learned a lot there. And it was an awesome experience. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I loved it.
Let me throw in one additional question. I hope comes off as funny as it is in my head. Those first couple practices, when you get back into it for lacrosse, did you have trouble trying to figure out how to run again? Because why I asked that is because when I would go to baseball practice in the spring, we'd have hockey players that would come over, and those first couple practices on the gym floor, they looked like they were on skates running down the baseline. Is that a true thing here that happens?
I think so. Yeah, I didn't run a whole lot in hockey season, so you're spending what from, call it May all the way to, for me, like May all the way to March the following year, playing hockey and preparing for hockey and on the ice every day. And then all of a sudden you have to go run down a 100-yard field. It was tough for me. Fortunately, I just took faceoffs, and if I won it, I got off the field. So it was easy for me. I didn't have to run a whole lot. So it was definitely, it's like riding a bike, like playing lacrosse and everything like that. It's like riding a bike. You pick up the stick and you're a little rusty, but you get back into it. But the running was definitely one of the hard parts. I was definitely out of shape for sure.
Last question. It's one of my new favorite games to ask people. I don't need a phone number, but I do want a name. Best contact in your phone is who?
Whew. I got Mike Babcock. He's on our staff now.
Yep.
He's somebody that we talk to regularly. He's definitely up there with the top. In the hockey world for sure, which is my world, and the coaching world. He's one of the best. So I would have to say Mike Babcock is the top one there.
Jeff Hill, assistant men's hockey coach for the UVM men's hockey team, works with the goaltenders, including a pretty good one that UVM just had recently, and Stefanos Lekas for the last couple of years now playing pro hockey. So, Jeff, we appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for catching up with us here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Brady.